You boys want some gunshots? Now, I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but these guys have rocked up now, and I caught them cleaning my car, so I don't quite understand. Do you want to explain what's going on this evening, guys? Have you got an explanation?
Nicking your car? No, I'm joking. Cinematics, you know, some nice cinematic photo shoot and stuff.
Yeah, guys, so basically, in a little bit of context, we've got the 10,000 subscriber special coming up, and obviously we haven't thanked you yet for 10,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for 10k subs. But for the time being, guys, we're going to go out and do a little photo shoot tonight. Now, guys, if tips and tricks is something you think you would benefit from, and if you want to be making decent TikTok videos, fire Instagram shots, and some sick-looking YouTube videos, stick around. The Driverse boys are here to help. Alright, guys, before we do anything, as you can see, what we're doing now is we're getting what's called B-roll. Although that phrase came from back in the day when producers used to use B-roll, I'm pretty sure, as to when they wanted to sleep with the attractive people that were on show. Either way, guys, what B-roll is it's effectively extra video. So, right now I'm talking, this wouldn't be classed as B-roll, but for example, if I were to point out the wing mirror, for example, and look at the trees going past in slow-mo, that would be classed as B-roll. So what we're doing now is we're getting the B-roll that he's going to be using to tell the story of taking the wheel off here, putting it on and switching on the ignition. Now, he's got two lenses. This is the second one we're using because he wants to get some shots of this too. But yeah, just thought I'd give you a bit of a story. We're going to be jumping onto this in a second and showing you the location that we're going to be heading to. Yo guys, right, so we're going to head off now. Not before I put on these irritating harnesses. But yeah, as you know, I'm here with the Driverse boys who have done some footage with me before. They helped do some videography. Are you saying hello now, are you? Yeah. They helped do some videography on my Road Angel video. They've helped with previous car meets. They've done all kinds of stuff, but we're going to head down now to a location with them to show you how you can take the best photos, potentially the best TikToks, and make some really good YouTube videos. So it's all about location and angles today. Right guys, let's get a move on. I need to turn the car on. And then, yeah, we should be able to have an informative evening. So we'll see you guys in a bit. Right guys, look. So basically, this is where we pulled up to today. We've got the ST, the noisemaker. And this is basically Mount Batten, there you go, Mount Batten North Slipway. And the other day we were parked all the way down by the green lamppost over there, and it allowed us to get some really cool shots. Now I guess this probably identifies something that we would have mentioned with the #1 tip and trick for doing things like photo shoot. Now it doesn't go as simple as just planning your location, it's looking into things like this: sunset, weather, tide, because this makes a massive difference. And now, unplanned, we need to wait for a while until the tide comes down. Oh god, I've just noticed we've got a Mark II ST and a Mark II Focus right next to each other. What do we think? That's definitely the nicer car. Guys, this is a really good opportunity to do point number 2. Because although I'm in the car right now, which doesn't really explain much to the viewers, we're making the thumbnail. So why don't you take the camera? And then what? Move over here like so. Wheels forward.
Yeah.
So guys, I think it'd be a wicked idea if you show the viewers the angles that they should maybe be using for such a thumbnail. So if we use my ST as an example, go over and just find some angles. Taking random photos like so, as you can see, the exposure will be all off, the weather's a little bit hit and miss, so all these things are important to take note, but these guys are going to explain. So let's go with 3 thumbnail options, 3 angles, and we'll go from there.
One angle could be over here. What you want to do is you can get low to the ground, because then you can see the car looks bigger, because the lower you get if you want to just try and get on this. You can then see it's focusing just on the car, and you get a bit of the sky in. So if you take that, you get the sky. You can easily replace it, make it nice sunset, make it really blue, make it stormy, no matter what you want to do, whatever the mood you're trying to get, you can do that quite easily. Now you've mentioned to me as well that you shoot in RAW. Now, yes. To those of you that maybe don't understand what that means, that's basically an unfiltered and unedited raw image that the camera takes with no extra setting. For that reason, it allows you to have more creative control when it comes to things like Photoshop at the end, or color grading. You get more detail from RAW. Exactly. Now obviously it's important to realize that the angles are essential, but in that particular example just there was a lot of sky. Now it's also important through experience
to leave a lot of space for maybe text,
Yeah.
or maybe images that maybe give a little bit more context on the thumbnail. So I'll give you an example, guys. If this was the screen and the car took up the whole screen, where can you put text? There's nowhere. Now, example, again, if you're in this position as well, there's no place to put text. But what I always do, an example like this, if I get down low here and hold the car in the bottom left hand side, notice how not only is the sky at the top, but there are some beautiful colours at the same time as being lots of space for text.
Good.
So why don't you give me another angle,
Okay.
and maybe another trick that they could maybe take advantage of,
Yep.
and then I'll take a few pictures myself.
Yeah. Another one you probably would have seen was when George did the car mats. He advertised it with the door open. You can see everything.
Yes,
nice.
so we could do that. So if we open the door as an example. Now again, you can actually use the shot that you see through the windscreen. So if we turn you this way, guys, this is the kind of basic shot, but as you can see, the door's in the way, so that's not ideal. So if I turn the camera around, you can see that in portrait mode, it shoots a much nicer image. So do you maybe have anything to offer on what I just said regarding the portrait mode?
Yeah, definitely. So you should know your audience. So if you're posting on YouTube, for example, you'll probably want to focus just on the landscape mode, or landscape of...
Like I'm shooting in right now, as you can see, guys, if I do this, it's probably flipped it over on the screen for you. You can tell it's not really ideal. All right for a photo, but I've got a wide angle lens, so it makes much more sense to use the wide angle lens to its advantage.
But as I was saying, you should know your audience. So if you're taking stuff for Instagram video, for Instagram photos, anything, you should really do a portrait, just because then it fills up more of the screen and people see it more, and it's just better, really.
Yeah, it makes sense completely. Now TikTok, for example, they do everything in portrait mode. So it might be a good idea, guys, to maybe run around doing your TikTok videos like so. That way it doesn't crop. But if you do it like this, when you have the screen on TikTok, you'll find the bottom ends are cropped out to be black. Now I know that wasn't the best example. I'll try and put up an image to show you guys exactly how that happens from my TikTok. But yeah, that's definitely something to take on board.
If you're uploading to Instagram, what a lot of people do is they'll take a landscape of the car, picture of the car, but when they go to crop it to be square for Instagram, you either have to add a load of sky to make it square, or you have to chop off like a part of the car. If you shoot a portrait, you get the whole car in from each width, and then you can just chop off the sky.
That's actually a really good point, mate. I really appreciate that, because just now I did mention that if we use the side example of the car, if I were to take a picture like this, then when you do go into editing, there's not a lot of leeway. However, guys, if you come back, if you're like so, you can then zoom in and have a lot more creative control at the angle.
But yeah, like if you go portrait and fit the whole car in, then to make it Instagram worthy, which would be a square, is usually the most common on Instagram, all you have to do is just chop off the sky and the ground. You don't have to do anything else, and it's quite an easy way of just doing it quite quickly. Right,
so that will lead us to the last point on the thumbnails. If I close the door now, guys, I'm going to quickly take a couple of angles and I will show you, and you'll most likely see them on Instagram. So if I come down to here, and if I hold the car in the bottom left hand side, it tells a story. Now if you notice from this angle, the car is looking out into the distance. It can tell a lot in the image. Now they often say a picture can tell 1,000 words, so I'm going to stop recording just now, take some thumbnails. So guys, I apologise if it's a bit windy, but as you can see now, I'm filming from my iPhone. Now this is a valuable tip when doing YouTube videos, to have a spare camera. Now we've all got a girlfriend or a friend with another phone, so if you need to jump on that and make sure that you've got someone to help, having an extra camera will be great for additional angles. Now angles are key. In this particular instance, you can see that this is setting the premise right here. Obviously we can speed up the footage in editing later on and get a time-lapse type thing. But as you can see, having this extra camera, you know, we've got mobile phones in our pockets, all of us do. So this is a prime example. But hopefully once we've done the photo shoot and got some thumbnails for today's video, we should be able to plot the car down here, and then we can show you just how cool it can look when you come to a location just like this.
'Cause I'll be living with regret.
Now as you can tell, hair's all over the place, it's super messy, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're down at one of the nicest locations we can find here in Plymouth, but this weather is absolutely crazy. It looks like it's about to throw a tornado down at us, but hopefully that's not the case. I don't want to go in the water, and I do not want to catch crabs. Again. Now guys, this is a prime example why you need a good microphone, either a lavalier mic that goes through your t-shirt, or maybe one with a wind deflector like I've got on top of here. As you can see, I've got the Sony a6 400, and that has a really nice wind diffuser on top, which makes a big difference. We've got Matey down here doing some nice shots that he mentioned earlier with the DJI Ronin. Now, locations like this are usually pretty risky. Now I say that because it's usually down to timing, the tide coming in, the tide coming out, and weather. So if you do have locations like this, don't take the piss, be safe, but more importantly guys, you will end up with some fire images that I'm sure you will see on my Instagram at a later date. But I just felt a video like this was really crucial because I wanted to be able to offer some tips that maybe I didn't know when I first started out my YouTube channel. So if you can hear this clip, we'll use it. If not, yeah, I think it's going to rain. Definitely going to rain. This cloud is silent. Now there is very good reason why the car is parked up here right now. You can see the water is in the background. We've got the sky in the background as well. And we've also got the depth of field certainly increased by having the wall either side. Now that really helps to getting a nice fire picture. Now obviously make sure that you take these notes on board. And hopefully you can let me know with links in the comments if you've done anything or maybe learned anything from this little tip. God, it's so windy. The joys of a good location. Yeah, it's super, super windy. When it comes to a location like this, guys, you don't have to worry about the kind of video that I'm filming now. Most of it will be audio off, slow-mo, high frames per second, so you can get decent footage. Right guys, so something that you can definitely benefit from, but you most definitely do not need, is a gimbal. Now this is the Ronin, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the DJI Ronin M.
Yeah, and he's got the A6300 Sony on there with a specific lens for the job. But he's going to be using that now to capture B-roll, right?
B-roll, I'm just shots in the car.
Yeah, really. Cool. So you go do your thing, and I'll try and get some snippets of this. So cool. If you've got anything to offer, just let me know. Guys, this cloud is about to ruin our entire life. Oh no! Right, in the car. Oh guys, it started raining. Oh no! I really wanted to get this shoot done. Hopefully it doesn't completely ruin us. Just temporarily shut the windows. I know it's really, really dark. Oh look, auto beam LEDs doing bits. There's just so many factors to take in when it comes to filming. There's so much planning and there is just so much that goes into it, and that brings me on to a really good point. Script everything. Every video you do, every picture you do, just make sure you have planned it in advance. But right now, I'm not convinced the tide is going down. I'm convinced it's coming in and going to make my life incredibly difficult. So I don't quite know what's going on, but I'm just hoping that it doesn't cause us to lose out on the potential footage. So we'll see what happens and we'll join you shortly. Now guys, I'm going to start on Google because I think it's definitely the easiest platform that we can use, and we're going to be using something called Canva. But at the top you can see all of the little tabs that I've got saved up here. Now as a YouTuber, there's a lot of them that I use that obviously make making YouTube videos, thumbnails and songs a lot easier, but at the same time, I'm just like you guys, I love entertainment too, so I've got lots of the useful ones that I use the most saved up here as well. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to go onto canva.com by clicking on this little tab right here. So once we do that, it'll open it up, it's super simple, and it will most likely show you the last designs that I did. So in this particular example, it's got the 1280 by 720, which is the resolution needed for a thumbnail on YouTube, and it's going to bring up this blank screen. You're going to want to come over to the upload section just here, to which it's got all of the PNGs and the images that I use to make my thumbnails. Now this is an incredibly easy platform to use, but in this particular example, we're going to click upload an image or video. Now we're going to click on desktop, and we're going to find the images that I took on my camera earlier. Now, just while I do that, to those of you wondering, I use the Sony a6400 with the Sigma f1.4 16mm. Now, it's a wide-angle lens, it's great for making videos, but most importantly, it's really good in low light. So the three images that I took, we'll quickly run through. So what I usually do is just click on them and just see how they come out, just how they look on a big screen. That one looks pretty nice. And then this one looks alright. Now I don't actually like the angle that sits. It makes the bum look too big of the car, and it's not the kind of image that I like to use. So in this particular example, we're going to pull up this one. Now looking at it, it looks a bit odd, the angle's a bit dodgy, but we're in a position now where we can start to manipulate that to our advantage. So we're going to stretch it out to fit the screen. Now just for this example, we're going to make the full screen. So if we stretch it out, you always want the car sat in the bottom left hand side. Now if we just pull this out and stretch it in a bit more, we can make the car a little bit more center of focus. Now what I mentioned earlier in the video, if you remember, is it's super important to have lots of space above the car. Now obviously we want to tell the story and we want to color grade the picture too, so it's important to have space if we choose to use text or pictures or anything similar. In this particular example, I don't really feel that we need to, but we might have something on here like the best tips or something relevant that we'll come up with later on. But we don't need to do a huge amount more than simply click on the image, click adjust. We're left here with these little tools that we can then use to make the picture look nicer. I don't tend to go too far into it. What I tend to do is up the saturation. See how that looks? You'll see that the colors pop a little bit more, and I bring the blur to -2. So usually I end up with a picture like this, which I use as my foundation. I'll then save this picture by clicking on download. Now looks a lot more appropriate for a thumbnail. So then you're in a position where you can start to adjust text. Now guys, I really hope that finding out about Canva will do you some favors in the future. As you can see, it's a fantastic website to use for your thumbnails. And this one here and this one here are proof of that. So this isn't a brand deal. They haven't told me to do this. This is simply me reflecting a useful free software that I have found super useful to grow my YouTube channel. Right guys, so as always, thank you so much for watching today's video. Consider giving it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Check out all of Driverse's socials. They will be in the description section. Possibly let us know what you think in the comment section, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will join you in the next video. But for now, GCM, roll the blank screen. Peace.